For my second MJ themed video of the year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I decided now would be the perfect time to go a little deeper into Michael Jackson's back catalogue and cover the work he did with his brothers. The Jackson 5 and later the Jacksons have a wealth of incredible songs that stretch from their beginnings at Motown in 1969 all the way through to the 1980s and beyond. And boy, do they have some hits! I'm Kendall Richardson, and these are the songs I consider to be the top 10 best by the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons. Number 10, I Want You Back. This is the song that started it all. Michael Jackson was just 11 years old when this song hit #1 across the world and introduced us not only to an insanely talented family, but the future king of pop. The first of many hits for the Jackson 5 by Motown manufacturers The Corporation, I Want You Back is an absolute pop music staple, featuring a soaring and uplifting melody, a very danceable groove, and excellent call and response vocals by Michael and his older brother Jermaine. The world was completely in awe of how gifted these kids were and how someone as young as Michael could sing and dance like that. It is always a delight to see the brothers perform the slick choreography to this song live on stage, and to see on the big screen a certain baby tree in a pot dance with joy along to the music. Number 9, That's What You Get for Being Polite. This track is an underrated highlight from the Jacksons' game-changing album Destiny, which came out in 1978. Co-written by Michael and his younger brother Randy, That's What You Get for Being Polite tells the story of a man named Jack who is sad and troubled because despite being a good person, he cannot seem to find the love of another, and he's letting this search for love rule his existence. My favourite thing about this track is Michael's vocal delivery. He sings the verses so soft, but later, when the composition rises, he rises with it, ad-libbing lyrics like "Don't you know he cries, don't you know he's scared," and singing them with such conviction and desperation. As Destiny marked the first album where the Jacksons were able to show their creativity in their songwriting, this is a great early piece that hints at the potential of Michael's ability to tell a story through a song. Number 8, Be Not Always. Forget She's Out of My Life, this song is Michael Jackson at his most vulnerable. With music scarcely there to back him up, you can hear every quiver and whisper and glorious melody in his voice. It's a ballad where MJ laments with tremendous sadness and empathy about the state of the world and the awful things that occur within it. These issues are always very dear to his heart, and you can tell exactly how deeply he feels it and means it with every note in his voice. Be Not Always is one of the Jacksons' most underrated songs from one of their most overlooked albums, Victory, which came out in 1984. It was also the last album that Michael worked on with his brothers, and this song never fails to bring a tear to my eye. Number 7, I'll Be There. The absolute classic ballad synonymous with the Jackson 5, I'll Be There is one of the best earliest recordings that really showcases Michael Jackson's singing ability. The power, the love, the affection that comes through in his voice is simply astounding. One of my favourite things about the song is the fact that it would go on to become an essential part of Michael Jackson's solo touring career. He would perform it at the end of a Jackson 5 medley, and to hear adult Michael singing the song just simply blows me away. The song and the performance were both so emotionally charged, it brought MJ himself to tears. But the fact that an 11-year-old boy could sing so truthfully about a thing he may not yet fully understand never fails to amaze me. Which brings us to the next song on my list. Number 6, Who's Loving You? If you want to see just how much of a child prodigy Michael Jackson was, I will point you directly to this killer soul tune. Who's Loving You is a great Motown track written by Motown legend Smokey Robinson and first recorded with his band The Miracles back in 1960. The Jackson 5 recorded and released this song at the height of their early success in 1969, and it went on to become the most well-known version of the track. Michael's vocals on the tune are simply beyond incredible. The heartache that the track expresses is something that a very young MJ had not yet encountered, but every time he sang it, it was as if he'd just experienced the worst breakup of his life. His ability to interpret the lyrics in such a beautiful and deep way is just a testament to who he was and who he would become. Number 5, Dancing Machine. This track is definitely one of my favourite Jackson 5 tunes. Very appropriately entitled Dancing Machine, this song never fails to make me get up and dance my butt off. I honestly think this song does not get the credit it deserves and is too overshadowed by the Jackson 5's earlier work. Another great track where Michael and Jermaine share the lead vocals, Dancing Machine is probably considered to be the Jackson 5's last big hit with Motown. In the middle of the song, there is an instrumental breakdown that served to give MJ the chance to show off his robotic dance moves during any live performance of the track. Case in point, when the Jackson 5 first performed the song on Soul Train in 1974, and then 15-year-old Michael blew audiences away with his incredible moves. Number 4, Blame It On The Boogie. The lead single from the Jacksons' third album with CBS Records, Destiny, Blame It On The Boogie was a huge disco hit, and when you listen to it, it's not hard to see why. The song, I'm sure, at the time, came as a huge relief for Jackson fans back in 1978, as so far the parting of the ways with Motown Records 3 years earlier had not yet led to the success of their debut back in 1969. But once producers gave the Jackson brothers creative control, suddenly they were back in the charts. Everything about this track is phenomenal. The music, the melody, the vocals. The song is pure joy, and you can see that in the short film for the song that features the Jackson brothers dancing and singing, unable to wipe the smiles from their faces. In a hilarious coincidence, the song was actually written by 2 British brothers surnamed Jackson, and one of them was named Michael. Number 3, Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. If Blame It On The Boogie signaled the beginning of a resurgence for the Jacksons, then this song cemented it. Shake Your Body was co-written by Michael and his younger brother Randy in 1978, and I feel that it may have planted the seeds for what was to become Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, only 1 year later. The track is similar to Blame It On The Boogie in its pure joy and danceability, but what makes it better, besides being fully written and produced by the Jacksons themselves, is the complex composition built around a very simple melody. The song is so much fun. A standout feature would have to be the horns, which were a staple on any upbeat Jacksons or Michael Jackson track for years and years. The album version of the song is over 8 minutes long. I simply adore that they were not limited by any time constraints. You'd be hard pressed to find on an album these days a modern pop song that goes for longer than 4 minutes. It's just incredible. Number 2, Can You Feel It? I'm smiling at the mere thought of this song. Can you feel it? What an unbelievable track this is. It's the perfect song to start any party with, which is very fitting considering it's the first track off the Jacksons' album Triumph, and it was also the song that the brothers opened up with when they performed together live for the final time in September of 2001. I will never cease to be in awe of how Michael and his brothers were able to incorporate messages of positivity and harmony into their music. Can You Feel It was co-written by Michael and his older brother Jackie, and it is a perfect example of this incredible ability. But just the way Michael laid down his vocals on this track gives me chills. His delivery is absolute perfection. If you ever need to feel motivated or have your faith in humanity restored, put this track on and dance to your heart's content. Honourable mentions. This list was unsurprisingly hard to narrow down. Here are 3 incredible songs worthy of an honourable mention. Time Waits for No One. A very underrated ballad from the Triumph album, this is another track that showcases beautifully the vulnerability and perfection of Michael Jackson's vocals. Time Waits for No One is a hauntingly somber lament about a love that has been lost, and you feel everything that MJ feels with every syllable that escapes him. The composition itself is also quite beautiful and complements Michael's vocals effortlessly as the song arrives at the peak of a big crescendo in the final minute of the piece. It came as a surprise that Michael actually didn't write or compose this track. It was done so by his brothers Jackie and Randy. Again, Michael is a genius on display, convincing his audience just as he did 10 years prior when he sang Who's Loving You that he was the scribe of this pain. Definitely listen to this song if you already haven't. Lovely One. Another underrated track from the Triumph album, Lovely One is an absolute electric song. Right out the gate, the music demands immediately that you move along with it. The tempo is fast, the melody is catchy as hell, and the hook Michael sings in the chorus is simple but very effective. The lyrics of Love One feel like an early version of MJ's The Way You Make Me Feel, or at least the Jacksons' version of it. An upbeat love song that you can dance to till the cows come home. One of my favourite things about this song is that it always makes me happy. It's definitely on my list of songs that make me smile. Never Can Say Goodbye. And now, for another example of a young Michael Jackson being wise beyond his years and more talented than he had any right to be, I present to you the Jackson 5 song Never Can Say Goodbye. This track is a soulful mid-tempo ballad that tugs at the heartstrings. Released in 1971, the song was originally written with the intention of the Supremes recording it. However, Motown felt the song would work better if the Jackson 5 were behind it. They were not wrong. I've always adored the way Michael sounds when he's singing this song. He goes from such softness to powerfully belting it out. Sadly, the song is quite bittersweet for me, even though it's not about a loved one passing away. But the words Never Can Say Goodbye really reflect how I feel about losing Michael Jackson. I never ever really can say goodbye to him. And the number one best Jackson 5 or Jackson song is This Place Hotel. Not only is this my favourite song by the Jacksons, but it is the song that I definitely consider to be their best. It is probably also their most original song because none of their other songs really sound like it. Originally entitled Heartbreak Hotel, the name of the song was changed to This Place Hotel as to avoid confusion with the Elvis Presley song of the same name. The lyrics of the song tell a story of an ominous hotel where hearts are broken and nothing good ever happens. Michael wrote and composed the song all himself, providing us with another example of his songwriting genius. The song serves as a kind of precursor to two of MJ's biggest hits of his album Thriller, Billie Jean and Thriller, which came about only 2 years after the release of This Place Hotel. Similar to Billie Jean with its themes of love and paranoia, and similar to Thriller with its use of sound effects and unsettling atmosphere. This Place Hotel is one track every music fan needs to hear, which is just one of the reasons I think it is the Jacksons' best. So those are the songs I consider to be the top 10 best by the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons. What did you think? Did I leave any out? Leave a comment below and let me know. You can also find me on SoundCloud and iTunes as one of the hosts of the Friday Nights at Fred podcasts and the monthly at Winifred's podcasts. I've been a Kendall Richardson and you've just experienced Collectible Chaos.